This is Jundo. Welcome to Tree Leaf. I want to recap the 3 or 4 points we've been discussing the last few days. And I'm going to add a new one today about how to sit Zazen. Now, I got to tell you something. These are points that are sometimes, in my opinion, neglected when a lot of Zen teachers explain how to sit what they call shikantaza. Oh, sure, they tell you to cross the legs or sit in a chair. They tell you to just focus on the breath, and they tell you to let the thoughts go. But in my opinion, they leave a lot out that is like the sundae without the ice cream, or New York without the Yankees. I'm sorry if you're a Red Sox fan, by the way, or cricket fan, some of our viewers. But what are those points? And when I explain to you the reason why they're so important, I hope it's obvious to you. I told you to stop chasing. When we sit Zazen, there's no other place to go, nothing more to do in the whole universe. We judge Zazen every moment, even the bad moments when our legs hurt and we're just off our game and our head is all stormy. We judge it all. It's just perfectly complete. We stop chasing after things, including, peace and happiness and enlightenment even. And that way we believe we truly find. And the hard part for a lot of folks to get their heads around is we drop all thought of right and wrong, good and bad when we're sitting. And it's all just right. It's all just good. That last point confuses some people. And I want to tell you, I'm not telling you about amorality. I got a teenager here I'm trying to raise, and I sure tell him about right and wrong. And in Buddhism too, we have the precepts, and they're very clear on right and wrong. Try to avoid taking life. Try to avoid stealing. Be honest, be good, be gentle. We have a definite set of right and wrong. But when we sit beyond right and wrong and find another way of encountering life by doing so. Why? Here's the kicker. And if I can't convince you right now, you better try some other Zen guy. We get up in the morning, everyone, all human beings, you and me, this is how we're built. And we immediately start judging and planning and chasing. I got to get up. I got to get my shoes on. I got to get to work. I got to plan for the meeting tomorrow. I got to plan for whatever is going to happen in my life a year from now. We start remembering the past, all the things that happened yesterday, the things we would prefer didn't happen, the things that we would wish to happen again. We start judging all the things in life. That tree in my garden over there, I like it. That other one, not so crazy about. That tree is good and healthy, and that tree is bad. And the things in our life, being young and healthy, good. Being old and sick, bad. This is how human beings are hardwired. But you see the rocks and the trees in the garden there, they really don't judge. That rock is not sitting comparing itself to the slightly bigger rock over there going, boy, I have a rock inferiority complex. And that tree is not saying that it has some goal of blossoming. It just blossoms. We have forgotten the wisdom of the garden. So when we sit, nothing to plan. Sitting is all of time, we say. Nothing to remember from yesterday. Just sit. Nothing to chase after. The act of sitting must be felt in the bones, in the marrow of the bones, in the marrow's marrow. If you don't know what I'm talking about, fake it till you make it. Feel it as best you can. This is complete. Every step is a total arrival. We're always climbing the mountain, trying to get to the end of the journey. We're always planning what's happier on the other side of the fence, right? Every step is it, total arrival. We sit in that way because human beings don't know how to do it. This is the power of shikantaza. And even when we say we sit beyond right and wrong, that doesn't mean we're amoral or we're just complacent and shrugging our shoulders at the world, or worse, going, hey, world, I don't give a damn. Not like that at all. We're very concerned and caring people with definite senses of right and wrong and good and bad, and we're trying to make our lives in this world better. What I mean is, when we sit beyond right and wrong, we truly find a kind of jewel, a kind of perfection that shines right through all the beauty and ugliness of the world. Now, let me give you one more thing for today. Don't grab the thoughts while sitting Zazen. Again, I've turned to our special effects department. We spare no expense on special effects. And as a matter of fact, they do a lot of the same work for the Spielberg people, but we're lucky to get them. And they worked this up for me. Actually, we don't have much of a budget for special effects around here. I was actually going to get a balloon that I wrote thoughts on, a thought balloon, but it wasn't in the budget. So you'll have to do this. This represents the thoughts that drift through our mind. During Zazen, you're going to see me doing this. You see, thoughts come into mind. What are those thoughts about? Well, it says, stuff right there. The past, the future, the milk I got to get, what's happening at home, my crazy boss, all that stuff. While we're sitting Zazen, these thoughts will come into mind, one after the other. What do we do with them? There was a great Zen teacher, Uchiyama Roshi, who said, open the hand of thought. Just don't grab them. Sit in the quiet space between the thoughts. When the thoughts come, here we go. Oh, my wife. Boy, my wife, lately, she's not been feeling well. We have to get to the doctor now. That's representing I've grabbed the thought. And as I grab the thought, one thought leads to the next one in a long chain. We have to get to the doctor. Boy, I hope I can afford the doctor. My insurance plan isn't really good. Oh, Obama, I hope, insurance, blah, 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 blah. Next thought, the election, blah, blah, blah. Right? Open the hand of thought. Let it go. Oh, I got to type that report later. That report is going to hinge on my promotion there. And if I do the good report, maybe I'll get a little more money. We can take a vacation this year. When can I go? I've grabbed the thought. When can I go on that vacation? And where are we going to go? And maybe that will help my marriage. You think I'm making the same point as the blender and the hammer, also by our special effects department? You're right. Thoughts come. If we don't grab, oh, my wife, we don't engage in those long chains. If you find yourself in a long chain, oh, my wife, she bought that new dress. Should I tell her I don't care for that new dress? Boy, why does she always buy dresses? Return to the breath. Return to the posture. Just sit. Oh, the car. I have to take the car to get an oil change. If you don't grab it, it just drifts away. Now, funny thing about that, if you practice long enough, we practice this sitting in the space between thoughts, not grabbing the thoughts and getting tangled in long chains. We practice if we are in long chains, we briefly let it go, return to the breath, return to the posture, and just sit. But the point is not to be beyond all thought. Sometimes there is no thought, like this. And sometimes when we've been practicing long enough, something else happens too. And I was thinking, how am I going to demonstrate this? The only way I can think is, again, my apologies to the special effects department. So sometimes there's no thought. And sometimes when the thought comes, something else happens. The light shines through, and the thought somehow becomes there, but not there, illuminated, light. It's as if the silence and space of no thought and the thoughts become one. There still are problems, our work, our home. They may drift into mind as thoughts, but somehow they're not that tangled, complex storm that was going through our head. When we sit in the silence of Zazen, we let them drift out of mind, and there's sometimes just this. And other times there are thoughts, yet somehow they're not as solid. There's a brightness to them. We call this thinking, non-thinking thoughts, yet the wisdom of no thought at once. And the most complex issues of the world, of our lives, even life and death, even that grim reaper that's going to get us someday, somehow shines. And it's okay. Also with the emotions, it's good. We picked a rainy day here. Just stopped raining, but it was really pouring out there in the back of the garden. What do we do with the emotions during Zazen? We let the emotions be the emotions in the same way. We realize it's just the passing weather and we don't grab on. If the sky is clear, let it be clear. If the head is stormy that day, focus on the breath, focus on the posture. Sure, let it try to calm down a bit, but accept it for what it is. Rainy days are just rainy, stormy days are just stormy. If you're sitting there even stewing in your anger, you're going to be very surprised that if you try to judge yourself for being angry, I'm angry, and this is not good Zazen because I'm feeling angry, you're going to make the anger fire up and be worse. But if you just allow it to be, now I'm just feeling anger, like the passing weather of the mind. You'll be surprised that even that anger will become smaller, and it too will have the light shine through and be not as solid and not as domineering of you, not as controlling of you as it was. Okay, that's enough for today. Your lesson? Don't grab the thoughts. Let them drift through. If you find yourself grabbing thoughts and caught in long chains of thoughts, open the hand of thought and let the ranges fall. Maybe the light will come to shine through. Shall we sit with that?